A week ago, I posted my Nod Cry retrospective video, and in doing so, it made me realize just how many of the Nod Cry characters I had covered, but yet one of my favorite designs from Nod Cry did not get his own breakdown video. Today we are fixing that by going back in time to discuss Durin, the dragon that rewrote his fate thanks to the help of one of the Hexen Circle mages. There will be some spoilers for his story, so if you haven't done the story quest, Simulanka, or any of that, you might want to skip this video. Jumping right into Durin's design, we technically have a few. We have the mini Durin that we encountered in Simulanka, but for the sake of this video, I'll be focusing on his original outfit and the one that we receive after completing his story quest, if you can even call it a new outfit. His second outfit is more so a transformation after completing his story and overcoming the fate of the original Durin set by Tvat. The design we see when we are first introduced to Durin mainly consists of black, white, and this dark pink that fades into a lighter orange. I absolutely love the pink to orange ombre they chose for Durin's wings and the inner parts of his outfit. Not only does it draw my eyes towards the wings, but because parts of his outfits share this color palette, it prevents all the different shapes from blending together. The designers could have made the inner part of his clothing any color for the rest of him to pop out, but I like that they matched the wings. This helps brings a better sense of cohesion to his design. If you had never seen Durin before and took your first glance, you would be able to guess by the horns and the wings that he's probably some type of dragon. This is clear visual storytelling, and the designers went a step further by caging the heart on his chest, which effectively evokes curiosity. When I saw his design for the first time in the Song of the Welcome Moon trailer, I was so interested in this detail, and I was worried we may have lost part of the original mini Durin's personality when the two of them fused. While black and white as a color combo has been done so much before, I think this suits Durin greatly. The original Durin was corrupted by the Abyss, which can represent the black elements of his design, while the mini Durin we met is childlike in nature and has a heart of gold representing the white colors of the design. The colors are balanced evenly throughout the design as well, and I especially appreciate the placement of the white colors. Having that be in his collar, gloves, and pants evenly distributes this color while also clearly showing where certain parts of his outfits ends and begins. When Albedo fused these two parts to create the human Durin that we know today, the color combo is a great way to portray this. I also like that Durin has a few heart motifs. The most notable one is the heart on his chest, which is actually locked in his initial appearance, and then the more subtle heart that the shape of the horns on his head make. Once you complete Durin's story quest, you will unlock his other outfit, which essentially expands on what he already has. Not only are his colors brighter than before, but the bars over his heart are gone. You'll also see that there are more diamond-shaped patterns to his head. I'm definitely biased towards that choice because I have them in my design too. While this next tidbit isn't really part of his outfit, I absolutely love the fact that his kit contains two parts, the darker abyssal power and Durin's pyro vision power. Depending on what you select in battle, you'll get different animations, further bringing home the duality themes that Durin has. It doesn't take a lot for me to see just how much love went into Durin as a character. Jumping back to his design, there are two parts that I love the most, the heart on his chest and the wings. The wings don't disappear into his back when he's done using them. He actually always has them wrapped around his waist at the ready. The only criminal choice here is that he doesn't get to fly with the wings when gliding around in the overworld. Are you kidding me? This is a level of laziness that I cannot excuse. I just praised how much love went into this character, and while that's still true, this is where you decide to fumble it. There's actually quite a few characters in the cast that should be using their real wings to fly around and not gliders, but no, we don't get that. Taking a look at Durin's splash art, he gets not one, but two. One has the darker abyssal Durin looming in the background, and the other is a much cleaner, lighter version representing both of his different bursts. I gotta admit, between the two, I much prefer the darker splash art. There's more interesting visuals to look at, and the lighter burst is a little empty in comparison, at least visually. With the lighter burst, we do get some negative space, which I like, but unfortunately in the darker abyssal version, we get little to no negative space. When it comes to splash arts, I think a little negative space can go a long way. We don't need these giant artworks that cover the entire screen in order for it to be good or an impressive splash art. Heck, having too much visual stimuli can take away from the focal point that is the main character of the splash art. This is why I tell you guys that sometimes less is more. more. It was honestly a shock when Durin turned out to be a playable character. For the longest time, we knew Durin as the abyssal entity that was slain by Dvalin long ago. His corpse landed in Dragonspine, and his blood seeped into the ley lines that caused various problems for the mountain. We even discovered that this Durin's heart was still beating on Dragonspine. The fate of Durin had been sealed and remained that way for 5 whole real-life years of the game's runtime until Mini Durin was introduced to us in Simulanka. After playing through the Simulanka storyline, we discovered that Mini Durin was misunderstood. He never wanted to cause harm to the citizens of Simulanka or to scare them. He was actually just quite a kid at heart. For many players, including myself, we thought that this was an interesting summer event storyline. We got to see the Wanderer get some good character development, as he was the one that extended his hand forward, becoming Mini Durin's first friend. It's when the event ends and we see Mini Durin made it to Teyvat when things changed. It turns out his creator and mother loved him so much that she didn't want Mini Durin to be confined to just this story world of Simulanka. She left behind a magic pen for him to write his own story and overcome the fate of the original Durin. This mother is also one of the mages of the Hexen Circle. For some of you, this little lore summary may have confused you, and I don't blame you. Nearly all of this was in a limited event that happened over 2 years ago. If you were not playing Genshin Impact at the time, you had no idea that this happened. And a year later, the Archon Quest Paralogism was released and focused on Albedo and the creation of the playable Durin that we see today. I actually made a video about Paralogism back when it came out, and I got some heat from fans because I said it was just okay. There was a lot to enjoy about the quest, sure, but I could not overlook the fact that it heavily relied on your knowledge of past limited time events. Knowledge that many players did not have and had no way of going back to obtain in-game. Even if you did play these limited events, Albedo's was 5 years ago and Simulanka was 1 year ago by the time Paralogism came out. Not everyone is going to remember the details of what happened. Today, you can only learn about these quests if you go online and seek them out for yourself. And no, the small text pop-ups summarizing Simulanka did not fix the problem. It served as a nice refresher, but if you never experienced these quests firsthand, it was not nearly enough. And I want to make it very clear that I like Durin and his story. I like Albedo's too. The cutscene between him and his mother nearly made me cry. It's the presentation I have an issue with. They essentially laid the foundation of his character down in a limited event that you cannot go back and experience. They lock you out of experiencing that foundation, which can lead to continuity issues for players who were not around back then. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to do extra homework to discover who a character is because I missed out on a limited time event. I personally got a lot of enjoyment out of Paralogism because I was there for Albedo's second Dragonspine event 5 years ago and Simulanka. Players who weren't there to experience Simulanka or the Albedo limited event quests were not going to get the same enjoyment out of this quest that I did and players who also played these quests. That's not fair, and thus why I gave it a meh ranking. Durin's story is an enjoyable one, but he suffers greatly from being introduced in a limited event, and one of the characters that he's directly related to also has lore locked behind a limited event with Albedo. This is frustrating because it's actually a really easy fix. Let players play past events. Simple. You can have a pop-up that appears before you're about to do Paralogism, or even Durin's story quest for that matter, saying, hey, you've not experienced Simulanka, which has important lore related to this quest. Would you like to do that first? And then let the individual players decide if they want to go back and play it, or if they don't care, they can just continue on. You don't even have to give out rewards for replayable limited events, just make it an option. If you're worried about mobile storage restrictions, make it optional downloadable content. This already exists for quests, so why couldn't you do that for an old zone and a quest line? You can also delete these quests when you're done to free up that space again, so I just don't get why this isn't added for the betterment of the players. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I talk about character design a lot, and I've done plenty of similar breakdown videos for many of the other Nodcry characters that you can check out next if you like. I hope to see you in the next one.